Okay, amazing. Friends, I am literally here in the very second when Stephanie just finished the SSP. Da, 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 da,
Just
da, da,
finished. I'm
da.
so excited.
I'm so excited too. So we were just talking and she just told the most amazing story. And I was like, can we please record that? And we're doing it right now. So I'm super happy. So let's backtrack before we jump into that story. Um, you just finished the SSP. It took about how many months did we decide? April to now, and it's September, so about 6 months. And your first session was one of my favorites. Do you feel comfortable talking a little bit about what your first session was like?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, the backstory to the first session is that I had trepidatiously signed up for SSP because I don't usually, no, I actually do usually do stuff like this all the time, but I put a lot of thought into it. And there was just something inside of me that was like, now is your time. Now do it right now. And so I made sense of that by saying like, yeah, I'm a single parent. I'm working my ass off. I need to help myself. So I had this like, I'm going to help myself. And then I was very excited for like it to feel better already. And so our first session, I was like ready to feel better, but actually Z had forgotten to send me some of the intake forms.
I
And
fucked up.
yeah, and that's okay. That happens. But I was also unprepared because I didn't know what to expect all of the way, and so my expectation was like I'm going to talk to Z and I'm going to feel better. But I knew it was just kind of like a administrative call anyway. I don't know what I was thinking. But anyway, Z tells me that I need to fill out all of these forms, and I started to cry. I started to cry, and I was very like, so how long is this going to take? And like, what is the fastest pace that I can do this? Just very oriented toward like consumption and get it. Like, I just needed it to be in me now. And that's a real indicator of where my nervous system was at. So then that momentum being like interrupted by paperwork and scheduling and more like maybe 2 more weeks before we really get started sent me into the true expression of where I was really at right then.
Oh my God, it was so amazing. I had like literally never, I feel like the universe wanted it to be that way because it was such a profound experience for both of us. Like,
Yeah.
I've never forgotten to send somebody the paperwork. I'm like, so can we take like 10 minutes right now to fill it out? And you were like, I'm a single parent. Like, I took time off. You were in your car, like in between things. You were like, this is unacceptable. I was like, you are so right. I'm so sorry. And then it was like the time. And then I had to be like, we are going to do the opposite of what you're asking me to do. We are not going to go as fast as possible. We're going to go as slow as possible. I'm like,
Like, to go slower.
yeah, navigating that conversation was so big for both of us. Yeah, that was
But I
really,
was also really noticing like the way you handled me because I was unhinged. Uh, was the thing that helped me like really exhale and be like, okay, this person has seen me and cares about my well-being enough to not allow me to run this show. And so I felt really safe in being with you in this process. And I was able through that like first train wreck of a session, I felt like I showed up as a train wreck myself at that, but the way you responded to me and my reactivity was something that really set the tone for our whole 6 months together, that really helped me surrender into it and just be like, okay, some things are not in my control, like the pace of my nervous system.
wow, that's so beautiful. I'm so grateful for that part.
Me
Mm.
too. This was
And
such a
I did not charge you for that session. Let's just be clear.
that's true. That's true. I
I
offered
felt
to
so
split it with
bad.
you, but I don't think you did charge me.
Oh my God.
That
So
was so kind.
then, we were on our journey. Like, you had a move in this time frame. You had initially you didn't have like great access to space. We were a lot of times meeting in your car. You
Mhm.
have had plenty of life going on as we've moved through it. And I just, every time anyone goes through it, I'm so grateful for the commitment because it's not like everything is better all in one session. It's not like going to get a massage, you don't just get to lay there and then feel better. So can you talk a little bit about like anything that you noticed about the shift from like, okay, I want it to be better right now, and then like sort of how you noticed things changing as you went through?
I I've known through other like psychology therapies like EMDR, somatic work, that some things are going to be effective and some things aren't. And the things that are effective, you don't always feel it right away. But the way you kind of know it's working is because shit gets fucked up. Like shit gets fucked up in you, and you are shown yourself because the veil is becomes thinner between your nervous system and the world. So I noticed like hour 3 was really tough for me, and I uh could tell through my external experience of life that like my nervous system was growing in a way that was a growing pain vibe
Mm.
through like hour 3 and a little bit of the beginning of hour 4. But because I had done things like EMDR, and like I divorced my husband after EMDR, like I just like things seem to be broken, but they're not broken. You're just recognizing where you're at, what's going on, and what you would prefer. And so that's just like a growing pain feeling in life. And I experienced not as much with SSP, but I started to feel better, and then it got challenging, and then I started to feel better, and then I started to feel even better. And I was telling Z that the way that I feel now reminded me of the experience that I had doing this drug,
Yeah, we
which is
should have
what
looked it
it's
up. What's
probably
it called?
classified as. It's called Kambo. It's Kambo.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think it's Peruvian, but anyway, they take this frog that's this jungle frog, and they extract its poison. It's a poisonous frog. The practitioners extract the poison and create a resin out of the poison. And then they administer that poison to humans by burning the top few layers of your skin, like little points on your skin, and then placing the resin on top of it. And that's how your body ingests the drug. And what happens, or the idea behind it, is that because it's a poison entering your immune system like supercharges out to like combat and clear this poison that's in your system. And in doing so, you go through an entire nervous system like reset. And it's like it happens fast, like maybe it's just a couple hours long. And so you are in a full state of like what I would imagine, what I think dorsal vagal like meltdown feels like when I felt it before. And it was just like you're in a prolonged state of this like full nervous system meltdown. And I mean, I did see like some ancestry, and I heard some like a little bit of voices. But also you can have physical experiences. Like for me, I felt like birthing pains during the experience. So it was like intense birthing pain, like the like labor pains, and or like intense cramping. So like your systems all kind of get activated, and then you do the things that you do when you're in nervous system meltdown, which is like you vomit for sure. That's how you get a lot of the poison out, is by vomiting. But then also you'll like go to the bathroom, like you'll just kind of be
Oh,
in the total goo state. And then afterward, when it like wears off, you are in this like Zen state of nervous system harmony and balance. But because it happened so fast and it was so violent, I was shook out. Like I had an experience that was really challenging shortly afterward, like going on, like driving across the Brooklyn or the San Francisco Bridge. What is that? Golden Gate Bridge.
yeah.
While on the phone with my mom, who was like it was a tough conversation. And it just like all went away. Like I got triggered
Mm.
once and then it went away. And I was like, what is that feeling? Like, that's why people do this over and over again, is to kind of orient back to this feeling, but it's like so extreme
Mm.
and it's unpleasant. And this SSP like got me there, but because of the wide foundation of us working on it over time, I don't think my nervous system's going to snap back like it did during that first time.
Oh my gosh, that's a wild story. I can't believe you had the like birthing pains and all that. Amazing.
I know, I
But
felt like I was giving birth to something, which could just have been a symbol of my like new life, but that was, well, yeah, I don't know. I met my partner through like 7 days later. So
wow.
yeah.
Wow. That's just so wild. So some of the things that you have talked about experiencing through this that are really hard for people to understand, or one of the things is the boredom that kind of comes
Mm.
in the middle. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it was like a cheerful boredom that I was in for maybe a month where and we're like, I mean, it's September in 2014, so we're like in a hotbed climate of um like political and media shitstorms type things, like where people are speaking passionately about stuff all around me. And I was like, I don't give a shit about any of this. Like I usually, I mean, get really wrapped up in other people's emotions. And like if someone's speaking passionately around me, I'll get like I'll match them. But I just stopped matching people's emotions, I think is what it was. And I was like, if it doesn't matter to me personally, it does not matter. Like,
Mm.
and so then I just started to get a little bit like, well, what do I care about? Like, what is the contrast in life? Like, what is going on? I mean, I moved, everything's very pleasant. Um, I finally started to feel what it felt like for people who get like you know how I used to make fun of people who like had it so good that they would get upset by like stupid local things or whatever,
Yeah.
like or just would create like like unnecessary drama sometimes. And I was like, maybe I should stir the pot a little bit and like do that. Or do I do that? But then I
Yeah.
talked to Z about it, and you told me to just chill and, be where I'm at, and that things would naturally happen. And what came out of that boredom void state was like a ton of creativity, a ton of energy to start all these different new projects. And I really have like a regulated fire under my ass to like live life. And I feel like yesterday I was walking somewhere wearing shorts, and I said to my partner Stefan, I was like, do you ever just like feel the sun on your legs and like you're walking on planet Earth? And he's like, oh, and I was like, I mean, it's just amazing. So it's like
Oh,
there's the ability, there's the spaciousness to feel the absolute pleasure of being alive.
oh my
You're
gosh.
not like, it's not like it's so nice to experience that and it not be substance induced.
Right?
Like pharmacology or even just a massage that would like pull out your dopamine for a day or so. Like it's really nice to experience that or have access to that anytime I choose to focus on, oh, I just want to experience the pleasure of life right now. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Amazing. I remember one time I was talking to a therapist about like that same type of experience. Like I was out on a walk and there was like glistening off of the little blades of grass. And I was just like,
Mhm.
I feel like the whole world is like flirting with me or something. It just felt like
Yeah.
giddy, like, oh my gosh. And she was like, I think maybe you're experiencing mania. And I was like, no, it's just
Oh,
possible to be like in the moment and actually feel grateful and connected and aware of your senses. Um, which is, yeah, it's wild because so many of us have gone maybe our whole life without having much of that. Yeah.
yeah. I
Uh,
I have heard of people. I live in a very beautiful place, and I've heard people who've been on like a wellness journey say, I never noticed how beautiful it was until one day I just like opened my eyes and saw all this beauty. And I relate to that.
Hmm.
Relate to that. So it's a wonderful
Ah,
journey. Thank you so much, C. I feel really,
yes.
really grateful.
Oh my gosh, can I have you tell one more quick story? The story of the pickup at school.
Oh yeah, well,
Yeah.
I moved. So I moved about 15 minutes further away from where my son goes to school. He goes to this great school, so I decided to keep him there. So now we have like a 25-minute commute one way to school. And in the past, last year, when we were just, 10 minutes away from school, we were late every single morning. And I was like, I had told myself it was okay to be late so that I wouldn't get super stressed out, but the being late in itself like inherently was stressful because of the traffic and just knowing that I was like not giving my son the best start to his day and like just the social like conditioning of like being late. And I was trying to give myself permission to be like where I was at. And I was like, I would start the day every day just like in the negative of energy because school drop off in particular felt like a crazy thing to do at 8 o'clock in the morning before I had even like really put my like normal clothes on for the day. And then I moved, we had a summer, start school back up. And now we have a 25-minute drive and we've been early every single day. And it's like every single day I'm able to calmly move us through the morning so that we can drive in peace, that we can get there before the traffic starts. I can just drop him off and he can chill for a little bit before his day gets started. And I'm out of there before the craze starts. And it's not about like being early. It's just like I just tuned into a way that works best for me now. Like that's matching what's going on in here. Whereas then I was just operating despite my efforts in a way that matched me where I was
Yeah.
at then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's really well put. Like, despite your best efforts, like you
Mhm.
are what your nervous system is.
Yeah. You experience it
You just
everywhere.
are. Like you can't like and it's reflected back to you. Like
Hmm.
you can't be or experience anything other than what your nervous system is doing. And rather than that being disempowering, like this whole work gives us the opportunity to be like, oh, okay, I know how to recognize it. I know how to support it. I know how to like not beat myself up about it, ask myself to do things that are outside of my capacity. Uh,
I do not do ask to do things that are outside of my capacity. And I was even remembering yesterday, I also have a podcast with my podcast partner. Her name's Katie, and
it's
she
so
was
good.
talking. Thank you. We had Zion to talk about um, single parenting and nervous system stuff.
Oh
It
my
was
gosh.
amazing.
It
It's
was
one of
an
our best
amazing
episodes.
conversations.
Yeah,
It really
that
was.
was one of the best ones for sure.
You
But
know,
we were recording yesterday and she was talking about how she gets anxious sometimes when she's doing something she doesn't want to do. And she's going to start nervous system work with Z. And she says, I hope that goes away afterward. And I said, yes, it absolutely will, because I think before you have this work under your belt, you get into a situation where you don't really want to be doing it. And you're so oriented, especially as a single parent, to do so much shit you don't want to do all
yeah,
of the time and put yourself into this like contorted pose that feels so bad. And then after nervous system work, you just don't agree to do all of those awful things and you know your limits a lot more. Like even in the moment, like, oh, I just, you know what, I can't do one more errand, it's done. But
yeah.
before you're out of that, when you're dysregulated, you push yourself and you push yourself and you put yourself through all of this shit that you hate.
Mm,
And so you get anxious. And Katie has stopped, a lot of her life has changed since her kids moved out of her house. They grew up and moved out, and now she's doing things she doesn't want to do. And she's feeling that anxiety of like, oh no, am I going to put myself through way more than I can handle right now because I'm already doing something I don't
mhm.
want to do. And I think that this work has really changed that particular habit for me. And so now I can be in an environment that I don't like love, like maybe traffic, or I have to do something I don't like to do. And it's like not really derailing. I can focus on it because I'm present. I'm not bringing my past and future into that experience, I'm just like, whew, I don't like this, darn. Well, at least afterward, I can like, feel the air on my face or something.
Yes, yes. It's that not feeling trapped.
Yeah, you don't feel trapped
Hmm.
as much. I haven't felt that sensation of being trapped in a few months.
Uh,
That's good. That is like real hope that people can have for their life. Because I think people feel trapped in that cycle of like, I just have to do stuff I don't want to do all the
mhm.
time. And they don't know how to get out of it because
Yeah,
there's so much anxiety that it starts low level with a small thing. And now I can manage those experiences, but not compound them because I can serve myself better. Like I was telling
yeah.
you, I remember to take deep breaths now. Like I never could and I never felt good. And now I remember and it does the thing it needs to do.
It's so
Amazing.
magical. Yeah. And it's like, of course, most of us know that these little things aren't going to kill us, but our body doesn't know that. And
No.
that's the piece that it's like, you can't, like, the nervous system, like, just doesn't speak English. Like,
Mhm.
it just needs the nervous system exercises. It needs this, opportunity to like reset. And so we can either take frog poison or you could come do the SSP.
Drug poison is short-lived.
Maybe if you hadn't had that conversation, I don't know. But I can tell you that sounds so scary to me. I would never do it.
I
You're very brave.
I can't believe I did it. Something though needed
Yeah.
told me that I needed to, it was the same as this. It was
Yeah.
like I've always been on this journey and I tried to get there cognitively and I tried to get there in the fast way,
Yeah.
like out of desperation. Like
Yeah.
the frog poison was probably desperation.
Yeah.
Um, but I tried to get out of this cognitively by all of the things. Like, I mean, I've been working on this since I was 15 years old. I'm 41 now. So,
Yeah.
uh, you can't do it cognitively, but it is nice to do the nervous system work and then have all this cognitive
Yeah.
information and resources and tools that actually become tools when your body gets on board with what you know in your brain.
Yeah. Oh, I
Mhm.
love that. That actually is a really helpful framework to see because it's like we know there's the like frog poison and the like ayahuasca, and it'll do it without you knowing what it's doing. So it's hard to hang
Yeah.
on to because you're like, I don't
Yeah.
know what happened. And
Can't
then there's
maintain.
the like cognitive, and you're like, I still can't get my body to understand. And then this kind of like puts the two together. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. I would say so. There's a lot of coherence between your body and your brain now so that, uh, you have more agency over if your brain starts to spiral, your body can be like, I mean, it's like when I start to feel triggered or stressed or anything now, I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. We're starting to feel stressed here. Let's take care of this.
I love it so
Whereas
much.
before, I wouldn't even know for
No,
days that
no,
I
no,
was
no. Yeah.
having a body reaction.
And you might have pushed past
Swept
it
across my,
so for so long that by the time you actually notice it, it's like
it's
gigantic.
way bad.
Yeah,
And you're
yeah,
like stuck in a thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh my God. Well, I adore you. Thank you so much for sharing all of this.
I am so glad to. I'm so grateful for what you offered me, and I just hope we keep in touch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna end the recording.
Okay.
Uh